Hey everyone, I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
And welcome back to another color class. In today's color class, we are going to be looking at gray, silver, white, salt and pepper hair, and we're going to be determining which of the 6 dominant characteristics some of these celebrities have with this hair type. So this should be interesting. We've been getting a lot of comments about gray hair, and we figured, you know what, let's just do a full video directed based off of all the different shades of gray, because there are a lot.
Yeah.
And they're all over the place.
Well, remember, it's a tone. You can go from the whitest white to black with just a little threading of white.
Right.
The palest salt and pepper.
You can also go from warm grays, too, which is our first model here, Diane Keaton. It's pretty warm.
It is quite warm. Not only is her hair on the warm side, her skin tone is on the warm side. It's fairly obvious she either tans or uses some sort of tanner or a warm foundation.
I would say a warmer foundation for sure. Maybe some like spray tan or something to give a little bit more color. Her neck in this, what you can see,
looks a little on the pinker side.
So it must be makeup giving her the warmth, but also the hair is pulling warm as well. Especially if her hair is pulling this warm in a cool outfit like this, a black and white outfit, you know there's a whole lot of warmth going on in that hair.
Absolutely.
So let's go through our 6 dominant characteristics. Light to deep. What do we think?
Light.
Yes, that one's pretty easy. Warm to cool.
Warmish. She's not all the way into warm because when you're light, you don't have enough color to be really warm, because warmth means you have red or gold highlights. Well, if you're almost gray or close to gray, those highlights are barely there, right?
There's just a little bit of warmth in that hair.
Exactly. So you don't get super warm. You're probably neutral to warm.
Yeah. And then soft to clear. What is she going to fall? Right, because there's not a whole lot of vividness to her.
Or contrast.
High contrast. There's not a lot of... I'm trying to use other words besides our usual...
Sometimes if your words communicate, they're fine.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Her hair color is very close to her skin tone, her eye color. Everything kind of just blends together. There's not a lot of high points and not a lot of low points.
Fun fact, though, notice her eyeglasses are they're intense for her look. She's soft, but these eyeglasses are reading as dark brown or, maybe like a dark black brown tortoise thing happening. And what's interesting about that is she needs them to pull off that outfit.
Right. If you're wearing the wrong colors, we always say sunglasses can really help, because what we're trying to do is she's wearing black and white. So she's a lot of contrast that she's wearing, but she doesn't have a lot of high contrast up top. She doesn't have black hair. She doesn't have black brows. She doesn't have very clear eyes. So what she did, brought her sunglasses up, because now what is that doing? Creating contrast. So now it's going to be framing her face, which good.
So that's a trick.
Yeah,
that's a trick.
Glasses.
Now you know it.
Glasses really help if you're breaking the rules, which we love to do.
We do love breaking the rules.
So here, Diane Keaton, we have light, warm, and soft. Next, we're moving on to Tilda Swinton. I always want to say Hilda. I don't know why. Tilda Swinton.
It's a little more common, the name Hilda, than Tilda.
I guess. Now, light to deep. This one, pretty easy.
Y'all.
She falls right in the light category. Now, warm to cool. This is pretty tough.
It's a little tough because, remember, we said you're not going to get a ton of warmth. But there's some warmth there.
There's just like the slightest little bit.
Indeed, there is.
But I still,
just look above her ears.
Yeah. Right? The longer hair pieces go very warm, but if you look on the short pieces, it's probably bleached out.
But I think if there's any warmth at all, you've got to just kind of go with warm.
Look at those eyes. And her skin tone.
Well, her eyes are just neutral. Like neutral.
Very gray.
Grayish, greenish, bluish, whatever. And but they're not a cool and they're not really warm, so they're totally neutral. And I think her skin tone is probably cool.
Yeah, I think her skin tone's cool. Her hair tone's leaning a little warm for what we can see, except on those roots on the shave side.
So if she were running away from the scene of a crime...
And she's just light.
Thank you. That's what I would say. Light, and then her secondary would be soft. Because it's just not, everything is, you've got a little bit of warmth, cool skin tone, neutral eyes. Not like you, except for the
now,
red hair.
If she went bleach blonde, platinum blonde, or completely white.
Maybe cool.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it would shift her a little bit.
Well, we could very easily do that in Photoshop someday.
Yeah,
we'll do that for you.
It's just not the real thing. It just doesn't do.
Yeah, the thing is, somewhere along the line, she's making a choice to have that extra warmth in her hair, because it looks like if her hair grew out naturally, it would be fairly cool. And so she's made a choice. So she wants to have a little bit of warmth, and that's okay.
This lip color, though, very cool.
Yeah, it is.
This one's tough.
Still, I got to go with and this is why the dominant characteristics are so fantastic.
Right.
Because what season would she be in the 4 seasons?
Summer.
Yeah, kind of. She definitely wouldn't be a spring. She doesn't have the brightness to her, but she's still got some of that yellow in her hair. So as a summer, she's not quite a summer. And that's what we always say to folks who are doing just the 4 seasons. There are people who do not fit. And when you do not fit, it sort of gives color analysis a bad name, because if we say, everybody can fit into 4 seasons, they can't. And when they don't, then other people are looking and trying to decide if they want to try color analysis or, learn about it, and they see people who don't really fit, then that gives color analysis kind of a bad rap.
Right. Yeah. Her dominant characteristic is absolutely light.
She is light.
Next, moving on to Jane Fonda. And she has that show with Lily Tomlin.
Lily and Frankie. That's, you did Frankie and Lily.
Is it? That one show on Netflix?
Yeah.
That's really funny.
It's not Lily and Frankie, because Lily Tomlin is her name, but it's Frankie and... Something.
It's a really funny show. Definitely recommend it. Is funny. But they have a show together, and we're doing both of them. So, starting off, Jane Fonda, light to deep.
I think she's on the lighter side. I think that she's definitely not as light as Tilda Swinton, but I think she's got some of the light thing going on.
Right. If we put her on a scale, she would kind of fall a little bit closer towards the lighter side, but she still has some dark hair in there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just in there. Warm to cool. This one.
That skin tone is like really warm.
It's the makeup. A lot of people with gray hair, cool gray hair, use a very warm foundation because...
I do.
Yes, you do too. Because they've been out in the sun, a warm overtone. Their skin, because, were you guys very familiar with SPF? Because I feel like
I'm 68 years old. I was a sun worshiper. I spent a lot of time in the sun. I've got a lot of sun damage. I've got color in my skin from that. That makes it a little bit warmer than you.
Exactly.
Folks out there, just a side note, your SPF, use it, because the difference in having skin like that and skin like this, I know I'm a little bit older, but people who've used SPF their whole lives, they look a lot younger than people who have not.
So back, we have very warm skin tone here. In this image, we have right in the middle of hair, a little bit on the lighter side hair.
And I think this goes a little too yellow. The harmony for my eye is not there.
Right. So soft to clear.
Soft.
Because there's not a high and a low point of contrast here. Her hair is very soft. It's not stark black and stark white. It's kind of just...
ish.
Right. It's grayish. There's a lot of gray tones going on. And what's happening also is we're seeing a neutrality because she has a warmer skin tone with a very cool hair. So very warm skin tone, very cool hair. So we have these competing dynamics going on. So what palette would she be in?
I would put her in soft with a secondary characteristic of, believe it or not, cool.
If we just made this slight foundation change, just went a little less yellow, a little less warm, she would be overall cool.
And the thing is, sometimes you have to analyze a season based on, if you know that something is being colored,
right,
or shaded or changed to, and it's wrong. And I know it sounds just dictatorial, but her skin tone here is too yellow. It's too yellow for everything else. It just is. And then
look at her brows.
Yeah, she's got some, she's picking up the depth in her hair, in her brows.
But we also have very cool eye makeup. A heavy liner, or is that lashes? I can't tell based off this image.
Like lashes on the top and maybe three-quarter of a line on the bottom. But once again, the color of her skin is just wrong. So I'm discounting it. I'm not including it in the analysis, and that's why I'm going to say that she's cool.
Right. Her overtone is very warm. Now, I would probably recommend mid-tone shades for her. A turquoise that's not very bright, but it's also not gray. Like a middle tone coloring. That's what I would recommend for her.
Obviously, she can wear gray because she's wearing gray right now.
Yeah, a very light color. And it looks good.
And here's a fun fact. There are 2 colors that you can always wear, that you never have to worry about, that may or may not be in any commercial palette you would buy. You can always wear your hair color, always. And you can always wear your eye color.
Yeah.
And so knowing that, regardless of what season you are or what your dominant characteristic is, if you go out and you find a blazer in your eye color, buy it. If you find something that's perfectly matches your hair, buy it. Because remember, we're trying to create harmony and you're trying to create a frame. And that works.
So her eye color here looks like a grayish blue color, which would look beautiful on her.
Grayish, greenish, bluish.
Right. It's a softer color.
But that, once again, makes her soft.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I think she could wear like watermelon. Well, watermelon's universal, so of course, that would be probably as bold as she could go or as clear as she could go would be a watermelon.
Now, I believe that this is an applied tan because if you look, down her throat, unless somebody did it in Photoshop, everything is kind of, she doesn't have that telltale pink color on her throat. So it could be that it's a spray-on tan or something like that. But she needs to lay off, in my opinion.
Her blush is going gray, too. Oh, you know what? They put a cool blush on her. That's why. They put a cool blush on a very warm skin tone.
Ears. Look at the ears, you guys.
Yeah, they do look a little bit less orange.
Yellow.
They look a little bit pinkier.
Golden. She's on. It's just not good. And now, let's say that you have that situation going on, and somehow you've ended up with really yellow skin. What don't you do with your makeup? You do not do a nude lip.
Yeah. Because
what is happening here is there's nothing to define her feature. I mean, she's got the eyes going on. That's okay. But what happened to her lips? Where are her lips? In all that sea of yellow. So she needs to have something going on with her lips. Obviously, if she's got that, her skin is that yellow and her hair is that cool, her clothing is cool, she's going to have to go with something in a neutral.
Right, a universal kind of color.
Yeah, for the lip, like maybe a mocha. Or, rosy mocha.
I know you love mocha, but no, I don't think so.
Like rose, maybe?
I think rosier would be better.
She definitely needs some pink to her. Something that gives her a little bit more.
Yeah, no brown,
rose.
A little bit more pink would be better. Absolutely. All right, so now we have Whoopi Goldberg. So let's take a look at light to deep.
Deep.
And then warm to cool. This one's tough.
A little bit, but I'm leaning more toward cool than warm.
Mm-hmm. Because what's happening? She has the gray crown right here going on. Mm-hmm. She has shaved on the sides. So that does throw kind of a curveball. Because we have a shaved head on the sides, but it does look like it's growing in gray. Do you see it? Just a little bit? Okay, so it does look like it's kind of growing in gray. Her hair towards the bottom is a dark brown, but her skin tone,
red. It's got a lot of red, a lot of clay.
Right, but it's not very vibrant red. It's like a softer, cooled down version. Her lip color as well, very cool. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Interesting. But we have cooler hair up at the top, and then we go to a black brown, but the black brown is more on the cooler side as well. And we don't have brows, so we don't have a brow color. I wonder if having brows would give her enough clarity to be able to wear vibrant colors.
I don't think so. I think she doesn't have enough eye.
Yeah, the eye. All right, so soft to clear. We just talked about it. I already gave it away. But you can kind of see where Whoopi Goldberg would fall. But definitely her main characteristic, her dominant characteristic is going to be on the deeper side. So she's going to be able to wear deep colors. I think a neutral-ish deep color would be beautiful on her. Absolutely spectacular. And this is really good for anyone who just has a little bit of gray coming in. Just the slightest little bit with Whoopi Goldberg kind of tones all around. But she doesn't have brows. That's interesting. I've never noticed.
She never has.
Really? I've never noticed that until we were just really examining. Lily Tomlin's. This is the other person we talked about from that Netflix show that I think is so funny. All right, light to deep.
Deep.
Yeah. I think so too. Even though we have a little, the hair on the crown of her head again, it's grayer. It's like Whoopi.
Yeah, it's salt and pepper. It's just a little bit of salt.
But back here, very dark. So it's just like Whoopi. And then what else? We have warm to cool.
Cool, obviously.
Right.
But I'm going to throw a monkey wrench out there and say, I think she could be clear. What do you think?
Let me get a closer look at her eyes. The contrast between her skin and her hair is giving clear.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So that is so in my face.
Right, but the eyebrows. Do you see how soft her eyebrows are?
I do.
And then her eye color is very soft as well.
It's somewhat neutral. But I feel like she's got enough contrast. I'm looking at that clear red in the chart. She could wear that lip color.
I think if she did up her brows, I think she could absolutely...
Pointed them up.
I think if she deepened them, I think she could be a clear. I think she could absolutely wear like a bolder lip color, bolder colors. Oh, she just needs a little bit more contrast on the face.
Yeah. I'm going to throw another monkey wrench into this works. What would she be in the Four Seasons? Winter, clearly, right?
She's softer, though. She wouldn't be either. She wouldn't be either.
No, if you had to.
I had to pick. I absolutely had to pick her.
Light to deep, warm to cool. She'd be deep and cool.
She would fall into the winter palette.
But does she really?
No, of course not. There's no way No.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a case where the Four Seasons are, it's great. It's great as far as it goes. It doesn't go far enough for every subject.
Right. Especially gray hair. Gray hair is tough because, like Diane Keaton, the first person we talked about, she's light and she's warm. She has warmer tones. But what she couldn't do is throw in a vibrant, bright spring color.
Yeah, she couldn't be a spring.
It doesn't work.
She couldn't even be a light spring.
I think there's a couple colors she could wear, but it would be...
would it be right for her? I don't know. I think that the dominant characteristics just kind of fit nicely with these ishy folks like myself.
Right. All right, so lastly, Sarah Jessica Parker. We have another warm. And she's going gray. I've been seeing a lot of styles. I know this is the only image we're bringing up. But gray up top cool gray up top, very warm down here. So sometimes she'll have it pulled back with her hair in front. So the pulled back part will be gray, but down here will be very warm.
Well, what you're seeing are the gray roots growing out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a choice that folks are making. I think that, they might have had their hair
cut. Absolutely get it matched.
I get it. I realize that she could, but sometimes, when you're of a certain age, you just don't. And so
it's Sarah Jessica Parker. I think she would get it matched if she wanted to. This is a statement now.
Maybe. Okay.
She's making a statement.
You guys, give us in your comments down below whether you think that the white roots and the more golden hair down below is a statement, or it's just a function of
what are we calling
where their hair is growing.
Ombre gray. The ombre gray. It's going cool to warm. You got the whole spectrum in there. So Sarah Jessica Parker here, we got her as light. There's not much depth going on. Because she's always been blonde, hasn't she? From Sex and the City days all the way to now. She's always been blonde. Warmer skin tone. The roots are going cool. But down here, it's very warm. And then we have soft versus clear. This one's kind of easy. I was going to be like, what do you guys think? But it's pretty easy.
Go for it.
She's overall soft just because, remember, we're looking for high contrast points. She doesn't have it. She has her hair kind of blends in with her skin tone, which also blends in with her. What is her eye color? Oh, it's like I
think it's bluish.
Bluish, greenish, grayish. Yeah. Okay. So the ishy colors, remember, what do we say about ishy colors?
But her brows are ash. Like an ash color.
They've got a little bit of warmth in there. It could be her skin tone, though.
She's also got a little gray in there, too.
Yeah.
Funny story.
She's going to be a Diane Keaton.
Yeah, probably. I decided that as my hair grayed out and got lighter and lighter, that I missed having some deeper streaks in my hair because I kind of dug it. I liked it. So I went to get my hair done. And the guy who was doing my hair, he put the streaks in. But I guess the trend now, to Sarah's point, is you can add streaks lower on the hair, like a couple inches away from the crown. And he did that. And what I ended up looking like is my hair was growing in. It was growing in white, compared to having those streaks done lower in my hairline. And I didn't like it. It just made me look older. And so if you ever decide to add lowlights, just from me to you, make sure that the person who's doing it does it to your crown line, because those lowlights added further down in your hair. I
don't know. Ombre was a trend for my generation, so.
This didn't look on me. It did not look ombre. It looked like an old lady with her hair growing in white, whereas I had some darker streaks further down.
Okay, well, hey.
And science does something for us that's really wonderful. And that is, let's say we were going to get streaks, get some lowlights put in our hair. They fade. So as your hair grows in, any lowlights you would add tend to fade out. So you've got some softness there. But the way this hair was done, it just looked like the demarcation line. There was no ombre. There was no fade. It was just a demarcation line where those dark streaks were in my hair. And I immediately left that salon, made an appointment at another salon, and got it fixed same day.
Oh, all right. And hey, that's what we're here for color analysis. We're just enhancing a little bit. That's all we do. So thank you for joining us today. I hope this gray hair lesson was helpful and you were able to kind of gather which of the 6 dominant characteristics you fall into based off this video. So thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe. We are a new YouTube channel, so we'd love to have you along our color analysis journey.
And if you're a silver, if you have gray hair, we're planning a few more episodes that really delve in deeply into gray hair and how to choose which gray, what part of your look you want to embrace or cover, how to cover. So all that's coming up, which you got to stick with us for that.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
This has been another color class, and we'll see you in our next video.